As I referenced, the most difficult thing to understand as a Muslim is the concept of the atonement. Why would Jesus die for me? But the twin difficulty is the issue of grace, because that's the answer to the question of why. I love the fact that in my world and in my culture we ask questions. We want to know the reason. I love the fact that we are passionate, we debate, that we want to know answers. We won't accept rote, silly little euphemisms that we use. But they ask, why would Jesus die? Answer, because grace compels him. And I define to Muslims this way: mercy and grace are twins. The Quran says Allah is merciful, the beneficent. But in Islam, mercy simply means that he does not kill you when he can. It is a sign of his sovereignty. In Christianity, it's different. And in the Bible, it's different. Mercy is when I don't receive what I should get. But grace is when I receive that which I don't deserve. Mercy, I don't get what I do deserve. Grace, I receive that which I don't deserve, which means grace God does for me even though I have done nothing to merit it, nothing to earn it. Christ died for me while I still didn't want it. And if Christ's death is in that measure, that's grace, and that's unconditional. I always challenge the Muslim. You say that Allah is love. Show me one verse in the Quran. Show me one where Allah loves those who hate him. Allah loves unconditionally. The Quran is full of times where it says that Allah loves those who repent, that Allah loves those who forgive, Allah loves those who act right. But show me where Allah loves those who don't want that love. That's the definition of unconditional love. It's the love of a father for his children. It's Christ dying for us. It's the godly for the ungodly. It's the just for the unjust. The promise is the cross was unfair, but it was still just. It was just because God's wrath does have to be appeased. And the Muslim is right. God's anger towards sin. But if Jesus dies, and Jesus dies in our stead, then the crucifixion was just because it paid the payment, but it was mercy because he didn't owe the debt. It wasn't his bill to pay. And it was grace because then he offers that forgiveness to me unconditionally. Often I will hear a Muslim say, well, I have to think of this, I have to get better before I'm ready for this. No, that's like taking a bath before shower. The cleansing that takes place in my life is done to me, just like his death was done for me. If I may use the words, salvation was done for me, sanctification is done for me. Jesus buying my sin, and Jesus making me good. It's done to me. It's done for me. It is done so that I now do differently, act differently, but I do so because I love him. I ask the fathers in Islam all the time, do you want your children to obey or to love you? And they think about it. Well, they must obey. Well, why do they obey? Because they love me. Do you want them to fear you or love you? I don't want them to fear me if that means that they're scared that I will always hit them. Because, what's universal is the love for children. Well, tell me, does Islam offer a love of Allah and obedience because you love him? That's all Christianity is. Legalism and Christianity do not walk hand in hand. Holiness does. I define it this way. I do now what I do because I love him. I don't do it because I'm trying to be a legalist. A person who loves God and tries to walk in holiness does so because we want to look more like Jesus. A legalist always wants you to look more like them. They define whatever Christianity means by whatever they are. I just want to be more like him. Will I ever achieve it? Absolutely not. Does that mean that the journey is negated? Of course not. It means that I do what I do because God isn't looking for my perfection. He just wants to see that I'm in the right direction, that I'm going in the right path. Not that I'm doing it to earn his favor. The straight path was a crooked cross. And I tell my Muslims, those that even may hate me, that I can't hate them anymore. Jesus said the measure of Christianity is a love for those who hate us. The Muslim is not the enemy. He is the one for whom Christ died. It's my job to love you even if you don't love me. It's hard, but it is exactly what Jesus did for us.